All right, so Jay, let's pivot to the NFL, and let's start with the game yesterday between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Dallas came out on top of this game 37-34. Believe it moved their record to 2-3. I could be wrong about that. But it helps them to keep pace in the division. Actually, they might lead the division now since the Eagles and the Washington football team lost. But that, in effect, is a minor story in comparison to what happened in this game as it regards to Dak Prescott, starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, who went down with a severe ankle injury, a compound fracture and dislocation of his ankle. I believe it was in the third quarter of this game. Had surgery last night, successful surgery. Should be ready to get back on the field by training camp next year. But obviously a horrific injury. You could tell by not just seeing the injury yourself, but by the reactions of players and team personnel on both sides, as well as up in the booth with the front office, with the Jones family, etc. Obviously seeing any player go down like this is just horrific, and it really can affect a person, someone who loves football and understands what these players go through. But for me, Jay, I was sad to see this happen to one of my favorite quarterbacks in football. And you never know exactly how you truly feel about someone until something like this happens to that individual. Yeah. Like, I had no idea I felt the way about Kobe until that happened. But seeing this, just outside of the horrific nature of the injury, what were some of your initial thoughts seeing Dak go down like this for the season?
So I was watching Red Zone. Mm-hmm. I was actually in the backyard putting up my basketball goal, and I had Red Zone going. And I turned to watch, and I saw him scramble. I'm like, oh, she's about to get sacked. And so I'm looking, I'm putting some pieces together, and then I hear, oh my God, oh, that looks terrible. I'm like, looks terrible. And as soon as I looked at the screen, I saw his foot. I'm like, ah! I literally screamed. I screamed outside. It was horrific. And I felt bad for him in that he has been carrying that team. Like, you can see defensively, their team is bad, and he has been putting them on his back, trying to figure out a way to win. And the fact that he's underneath this franchise tag, and he's got $31 million in the bank this year guaranteed, but no long-term stability with this, and then finding out it's a compound fracture means that bad boy is sliced in half, and then the ankle's also dislocated at the same time, which is pretty disgusting to even think about. I'm concerned about his future now, because the compound fracture like that is similar to what Alex Smith had. So that's where I'm afraid. Now, the good thing is he had surgery, and it sounds like everything went well, and he's at home now resting. The problem Alex had was that he had an infection while in the hospital. Yes. I think he had multiple infections. I think it kept happening, which is even more disturbing about the Washington football team in that area. But the point is, I'm nervous about Dak's future now because of this happening to him. He's done for the year, guaranteed. There's no way he can come back. I don't know. I just don't know what to think about Dallas at this point. They have the beige water pistol now throwing the ball. And I love Andy Dalton. I love the red hair. I heard he's a great guy. As Colin calls him, the Nissan Maxima of quarterbacks, and I drive Nissan Maximas. Right. So I have an appreciation for him. Right. Reliable, and he but I don't know if he is going to be the leader they need to be able to win or go deep in the playoffs. So my pick is now done. What you think?
Seeing the reactions of, in particular, his teammates as well as the Jones family, it really helped me to understand that he is the Cowboys. Oh, yeah. That he has been what is keeping them afloat for these last several years, even though they haven't ascended to the heights that the talent on that roster would suggest they probably should have. He is the Dallas Cowboys. He is the face of that franchise. He has stood with Jerry on certain issues to much criticism of the public and at times his own race of people in terms of where he has stood on certain issues. Yep. So I realized that he was a Cowboys, and then I got really pissed off, and here's the reason why. One of the shots that they showed up in the booth where the Jones family is they were very emotional. They were hugging each other. And I understand why, because they have a close relationship with him, I imagine. They know how good of a leader of a man and of a teammate that he is in that organization, and that he has kept them afloat and kept them relevant when they lost their former franchise quarterback, Tony Romo. In comes Dak, which is a very lucky thing to have happen because most franchises do not get that luxury. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're so emotional and you're so hurt, yet this is the one player on your team who deserved his money who did not get his money.
Yep.
DeMarcus Lawrence got it. Jalen Smith got it. Tyron Smith got it. Zeke Elliott got it. Amari Cooper got it. And they all deserve it, but he deserved it just as much as or more than them. And this is the one guy you didn't want to pay, but you're so emotional about this. If you want to get emotional, don't get emotional. Don't have gotten emotional. Have gotten your checkbook out to pay this man what he deserves. I mean, so that part really pissed me off in a sense.
I mean, you make a valid point on there. Stephen A. Smith made a point earlier this week. He said that Dak wanted 4 years. Cowboys wanted 5. Dak wanted 4.
Yeah.
And he was like, if this was Tony Romo, would you have gone in and just given him 4 and moved forward?
Yes.
Probably would have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Tony Romo was like the child of Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones. That was like their baby because he was an unfound, undrafted free agent that they blossomed, and so they wanted to take care of. But to your point, Dallas needed to go ahead. They should have just gave the dude 4 years and continued it because, I mean, Dak, in a way, was helping them. If they don't succeed, he's gone.
Right.
Shorter period. You don't have to be so committed to him so long term. But at the same time, I see Dallas still being committed to him, especially once he rehabs. Dak's a tough dude. He's a great guy, and you can tell that he works his butt off. They'll be fine.
Okay, so now do you believe that he's going to get a long-term contract, or are they going to franchise him again in light of this injury?
They're going to franchise him again.
But wouldn't that still be as disrespectful, or even more disrespectful, that he's gone through this and sacrificed his body for this team?
More, and they're going to do it anyway. We're talking Dallas, man.
We are. We're talking just the nature of the business in the NFL, and this is something that I've talked about before. Like in my last solo show, I talked about how the NFL is very capitalistic because it has no emotions when it comes to this certain thing. So it's almost like I can't say that, but then expect for Dallas to do the right thing and not be cold and emotional about it, still play it by the numbers, even though Dak has carried this franchise and sacrificed so much. And this injury, to me, only highlights the fact that he should have been paid already. But can they still win the division without him, with the beige water pistol, as you said?
It depends on what the defense is going to do. And that's what I'm terrified of, is their defense just isn't – they're never healthy. And it's kind of hard to win when your team isn't healthy.
Yeah, and you lose Tyron Smith for the season. Your center is going to be out for probably another couple of weeks. Your right tackle is out for the season as well.
Yeah. They basically lost their left tackle, center, and right tackle. And now they have Andy Dalton out here trying to figure out exactly what he's going to do without dying on the offensive side. And then defensively, they don't have any of their linebackers besides Jalen Smith, who's actually playing good, and Alden Smith. So the Smiths are playing well. Besides that, it's a question.
Is the better question to ask whether or not Zeke can carry this team as opposed to Andy Dalton?
That's the question.
Can he?
I think he can if they just feed the man. Feed him and Pollard. Mix it up. Keep feeding them.
Right.
And go.
You got to get creative because ever since the Saints have been without Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara has been carrying that team because Drew Brees, his arm, he doesn't have it anymore.
He got a noodle now. He's got the Peyton Manning noodle arm, unfortunately. And the one thing, my last point on this is Andy Dalton is not Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers carried Mike McCarthy's offense in Green Bay. Andy Dalton is not Aaron Rodgers. So the impromptu being able to just do your own thing, we can't expect the same thing out of Andy that we were getting out of Aaron Rodgers with Mike McCarthy, who used to have some pretty bad defenses, and Aaron Rodgers doing his little jazz work out there in the backfield. They got to hope that Andy Dalton can figure out a way to get rid of the ball quickly and effectively, because they've got some really good receivers. Like, his receivers are better than what Aaron Rodgers had in his younger days, in my personal opinion. But so with Cooper and Lamb, you got to figure that part out.
Okay.
Yep.